President's Update. I hope all of you had a fun and relaxing time during our winter recess, and most importantly, I hope you were able to recharge. I know we've been busy here the last few weeks, preparing for spring semester, enrolling students, and hosting Welcome Week activities at all of our locations. Here's a look at just some of the fun activities that have taken place. Thank you to everyone for welcoming our students and to a successful start to our spring semester. Now, let's touch base on how enrollment is going. We currently serve 63,000 students, not including our more than 60,000 dual credit students in high school. That's in the spring term alone. That's 2% lower than last spring. The good news? Our efforts to increase enrollment for this term are not over, knowing that we continue to market and to recruit for those 8-week courses that will start in March. We set an ambitious goal to serve 100,472 students for the 2018-19 academic year. Today, we are trending to be just short of that goal. However, it is not out of reach with continuing enrollment efforts with those March 8-week courses. I encourage everyone to keep working to reach out to potential new and returning students and to discuss options for starting classes in March. Our systems office team invested resources in additional marketing efforts to promote starting in January as well as March, and an effort that has been very successful in generating more applications. Teams across the state are working hard to continue to convert those applications into enrollments. At the same time, our advisors are doing great work with our students currently on campus and are reaching out to those who were here in prior terms to look at those March enrollment options. These efforts between the January start and the March start dates have increased as compared to years in the past, and we look forward to learning more about how we can continue to engage with students during the enrollment cycle beyond the traditional January spring start date. Well, over the last year, you have heard updates on progress we are making towards achieving the metrics that were outlined as part of our strategic plan. The 5-year targets for each metric were set up using a combination of internal and external benchmarks to determine appropriate term and annual markers that we need to meet. If we're going to achieve our goal of our students earning 50,000 credentials each year, and I want to emphasize high-quality, workforce-aligned credentials and degrees annually by 2023, these are targets we need to reach. To discuss how we are performing on some of those key student success metrics aligned with an important set of external benchmarks, I've asked Corey Klossman-Ryan, Assistant Vice President for Student Success, to provide an overview of the college's IPEDS data. Corey, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sue. There are many ways to use benchmarking to evaluate and improve our performance. This includes selecting both peer institutions that share similarities with us, as well as identifying aspirational institutions, such as those that are finalists for the Aspen Prize. Today, I would like to talk about how our student outcomes compare against two sets of peer institutions. The first group is a set of 20 institutions selected by IPEDS, which is the system the federal government uses to collect institutional data from colleges and universities each year. Our peer group is predominantly large urban community colleges across the eastern half of the country. The second group is institutions who participate in the National Community College Benchmark Project, or NCCBP, which is a consortium of nearly 250 community colleges across the country of varying sizes and locations that share data with each other. We know completions for students follow a similar path: successfully pass courses on their academic plan, persist from term to term, and then graduate. Let's start at the course level. Our course success rate in college-level courses, in other words, a grade of C or higher in 100 or 200 level courses, is around 74%. This places us in the 25th percentile nationally among NCCBP colleges, meaning 3/4 of all institutions have a higher rate. We have been around this level for several years, which is one reason for many of our recent initiatives, such as Strategy 1.2, focused on supporting students to be successful in gateway courses in their first attempt, and 8-week courses. When our students are successful in individual courses, we hope they are retained to the next term. Our fall to spring retention goal for this year is 70%. As of today, our current rate is 73%. This places us around the median for all NCCVP institutions. Achieving our 5-year goal of 80% would place us in the 90th percentile and would be a significant improvement over our historical average in the upper 60s, which has traditionally placed us in the bottom 25% of all institutions. We know our aspirational peers among the top performing institutions in the country for student outcomes. So reaching the 90th percentile would not only place us in that group, but more importantly would be an indication that our students are achieving their educational objectives and are prepared for a successful career. Our work in helping students create complete academic plans, creating experiences and initiatives that connect students to their campuses, and helping ensure our students' basic needs are met, and exhibiting the student success commitments are all some of the many initiatives we are focusing on to build toward this 80% goal. We know completion of an educational objective by earning a degree, certification, or certificate is the ultimate goal for many of our students. I'm excited to report that this is an area we have made significant progress over the last few years. Our 150% graduation rate, otherwise known as the IPEDS graduation rate, has steadily increased from 8% for the 2011 cohort of first-time, full-time, degree, and certificate-seeking students to 21% for the 2015 cohort. We know this is not yet where we want or need it to be, and while this is a small proportion of our overall student body, we also know that success in this group means completing within 3 years is one indicator that we have aligned our student success work in a way that will help all of our students be successful and graduate within their expected time frame. However, it is important that we recognize and celebrate the significant progress we have made during this time. There are many reasons for this increase, including our work on co-requisite classes and math pathways, our ASAP and Transfer as a Junior programs, and our focus on helping students find careers in high-demand, high-wage jobs, among all the other initiatives we are currently doing. Our 16% graduation rate from last year is slightly above our peer institutions, but is still below the NCCVP median. As a reminder, our target for the 150% graduation rate is 30%, which would place us around the 75th percentile of all NCCVP institutions. Despite these increases, we know we still have work to do. As you can see on the slide behind us, equity of student outcomes is an area we need to continue focusing on. The graduation rate for our African American and Hispanic students continues to lag those of our white and Asian students. Although this is a common trend across the country, we know we need to do better. Several campuses have chosen to focus initiatives specifically targeting African American and Hispanic males, and we are continuing work with Inside Track to identify specific coaching techniques that may prove effective with these populations as well. We are committed to achieving equitable outcomes and know this is a passion many of you share as well.
Thank you, Corey. And thank you for all you do is the work every day to help our students be successful. The improvements we've seen over the past years are directly related to the work you and so many are doing across our college. Well, we announced in early November that Matt Etchison would serve starting this month as our new Chief Information Officer. Matt brings a wealth of knowledge and experience from not only his time at Ivy Tech Community College as our Vice President of Information Technology, but also from prior roles in the information technology industry. Matt and his team have great opportunities ahead as they continue to work to lead the work that Ann Brinson, our previous CIO, has made on multiple projects and initiatives supported by our IT and decision support teams. One of the first projects on his plate is renovating the OIT workspace at our Lawrence Building location in Indianapolis. Here's a look at the design concepts of the space. Since the middle of 2018, the physical location has had multiple problems with HVAC and other infrastructure and has required attention and warranted repairs and remodeling. With that in mind, and in order to create a modern work environment conducive to recruiting that top talent we need in our IT folks, the team in order to do that, they sold a block of very valuable IP addresses that were not being used by the college. Now, other colleges, including MIT, I should say, have done the same thing. As a result, more than $1 million was generated from this IP sale, which now will be used to fund that OIT renovation, which we anticipate to be complete in the summer of 2019. Congratulations, Matt, and thanks to the OIT team for hanging in there during these construction times. Speaking of construction, We have multiple projects underway across the college in addition to the OIT renovation. So I've asked Amanda Wilson, our Vice President for Facilities Planning, to join us today to provide an update. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you. Thank you for having me join you this month. I want to share a couple of updates on our current capital projects and plans for future projects. If you've visited either the Kokomo or Muncie campuses in the last year, you can certainly tell something is in the works. You've heard from both Chancellor Scott and Chancellor McCurdy in the last year speak about the significant impact these projects are making on their campuses and in their communities. Due to the large scale of each of these $43 million projects, there are multiple phases to each project. In Muncie, the fourth floor of the Fisher Building was completed just this month. Our nursing and health science students returned to school this semester in a new space. In May of this year, construction on spaces in the basement and the first floor of the building will be complete and available for summer courses. The new Downtown North location will house culinary, express enrollment, and administration. This will allow us to vacate a leased space just a few blocks away. This space will be operational in December of 2019. The North Cowan Road location was vacated over the holiday break, and demolition has started. This space will house the new School of Advanced Manufacturing, Engineering, and Applied Technology. It will also be ready for classes in January of 2020. In Kokomo, there are multiple buildings under construction at the same time. The main building has multiple points of construction in both the administration area and 300 hallway. Thank you to our Kokomo faculty, staff, and students for their flexibility and patience during this displacement. Construction is scheduled to be completed in this building in March of this year. Building number 2, probably the most noticeable change to date, is in full construction. The building will house nursing, health sciences, automation, and robotics. The new 2-story addition to the former DuPont building is just the start to this transformational project. The building will be complete and classes are ready to start fall of 2019. This part, or as part of the phasing plan for construction will begin on buildings 3 and 4 in March of this year. Once these are completed, we will no longer occupy the buildings south of our campus. The campus will also undergo a site overhaul, creating walkable pathways between buildings and a new main entrance to campus. The total construction is scheduled to be complete by March of 2020. If you haven't done so already, I strongly encourage you to visit both of their websites to keep up to date on these projects. As we enter a new year, we also enter a new legislative budget session. These are years when the college submits capital request projects. Similar to our previous capital submissions, the college utilized the paired comparison tool and method for ranking our capital needs. This slide shows the criteria used for narrowing down the list of projects and the tool used for ranking each of those projects. As you can see, the project range from large renovations, like Columbus and Fort Wayne, to smaller repair projects, like in East Chicago and Indy. Our number 1 capital priority is Columbus. As you've previously heard from Dr. Combs and President Elsperman, the Columbus community is extremely excited to be our top priority. The project has been on our capital list in some form for a number of years. Our submission for the project is a building replacement at $28.8 million. While a different request than in the past, building a new structure directly behind our current building and then demolishing our current building will provide us with the best project to take the Columbus campus into the future. Fort Wayne's Harshman Hall is our number 2 capital priority request at $17.8 million. This project is another project that's been on our list for quite some time. The project includes a reconfigure of all student services, updating mechanical systems, eliminating the original central plant from 1965, and a square foot reduction of 67,000 square feet when Carroll Hall is vacated and demolished. Our third and final capital request at $28.8 million, here we are, is for statewide repair and rehabilitation. If fully funded by the General Assembly, the college will be in a good position to address nearly all of the projects submitted, even if not addressing all aspects that were requested. However, if partially funded, the college would need to prioritize each of these items that can be addressed. Our hope, of course, is that all of our capital priorities are funded, and in the coming months we will know more as we progress through the legislative session. Should we receive approval of any or all of our capital projects, we will begin the process of selecting our important partners to partner with for these projects in the summer of 2019.
That's a lot of progress. So thank you, Amanda, on this. And my apologies for our technology that took a mind of its own there with those slides. So we appreciate that. We want to also recognize the multiple teams that are working on these construction projects statewide. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing to ensure that we have this great outcome, which means top-notch buildings and learning spaces for our students. So we've had a lot of progress with our various functions going through the hub processes in the last few months. I've invited Alicia Amon, the Executive Director of Administration for the Terre Haute and Evansville campuses, to join us. Alicia is also a co-lead for our hub work statewide and is here to provide us with some updates. Alicia, welcome.
Thank you.
So, can you provide us with an update on all of the functional areas going through the hub process, and is the analysis phase of each one complete?
Hub analysis work started in July 2017, and originally we analyzed 21 areas of the college. The majority of them have been affirmed by Executive Council and have moved or will move to implementation. Of those remaining hubs to be affirmed, the next steps are the HR Hub, which was presented to Executive Council in November, received feedback, and that team is working to adjust the recommendations based on that feedback, and will go back to Executive Council. The Online Academic Unit, which originally started as the Distance Learning Hub, has moved to a reorganization project. A cross-functional team continues to work with this tremendous project, addressing the achievement gap between face-to-face classes and online classes. An alpha implementation is planned for fall 2019. There are two hubs, the Recruiting Admissions Hub and the K-14 Dual Credit and Dual Enrollment Hub, which will have portions of their recommendations moved to the Strategic Plan Initiatives team. In total, all but 3 hubs have presented to the Executive Council for affirmation. Those are Disability Services, Library Services, and Facilities. They plan to present to Executive Council in February.
Thanks for that update. So how does Ivy Tech communicate about the hubs that have completed their analysis?
Once the team's analysis work and recommendations are affirmed, they move into implementation phase, and the team is formed, usually within 1 week of being affirmed by the Executive Council. Each team follows a very clear process regarding communications, because at that time, the information is still confidential. The implementation team determines the cadence of communication with the college about the recommendations that were affirmed, and the team who will work to implement those recommendations. Once items are prepared and approved, a statewide email is sent from you, Dr. Osperman.
So tell us a little bit more about the process for implementation.
Sure. Each implementation starts with a kickoff meeting. During the kickoff meeting, we invite primary stakeholders who will be a part of the implementation team. We discuss roles and responsibilities, including identifying any ad hoc individuals to be consulted throughout the process. Essentially, this helps us to have a RASCI, which is to identify who is responsible, accountable, supportive, consulted, and informed. We also recap what has been approved by Executive Council, the vision of the future state as it was recommended by the Hub Analysis team, and the desired timeline of scope. The team identified here, Kristen Shunk-Moreland, Julie Lorton-Rowland, Mike McNichols, Matt Hawkins, and Kelsey Batten, or their designees, will be a part of every implementation team, which also includes subject matter experts. For example, I'm a part of the finance implementation team, along with a couple of fellow EDFs and EDAs. Following the kickoff meeting, we complete the following actions. First, there's a project charter that is drafted. We identify who the primary owner of the implementation team is from the business unit, who's going to be those who work most closely with that area. For example, public safety and emergency preparedness, John Barefoot was the primary owner. For grants, it was Brian Thomas. And for ICAP, it was Molly Dodge. So those are identified up front. We also schedule a series of meetings and identify and prioritize the communication needs that will come from the team to keep everyone updated on progress. Next, the team focuses on project planning and task development. For most hubs, after kickoff, we meet with the primary owner or owners and begin a draft that requires of the required task and action items that need to occur. We draft this from the basic project planning template and customize it based on each hub's vision. The planning and task development can be completed via a call or a 30-minute in-person meeting, whatever is appropriate. During the next step, we typically identify the working groups that are needed to address the task and assign the owners of those tasks. We also identify what is in scope and what will occur later. Additionally, we will identify communication expectations and discuss communication responsibilities. For most teams, we meet biweekly. During those meetings, similar to 4DX, cadence of accountability and keeping things moving forward, walk through the priorities in the task list and identify decision points and the dependencies, update the project plans and timelines as needed as the team continue working through the details of the implementation, work with the sub-teams and provide them support as they need it, and escalate issues to the ad hoc team or to the operations team whenever there is support or guidance needed. Our level of engagement on task is directly correlated to the needs of each implementation team, so it will vary. Finally, we complete the project closeout. As tasks start to wrap up and the objectives are met, we will formally write a project closeout document. We work with the primary owner and do a final sign-off.
Okay, wow. That sounds like a lot of work for these teams. Knowing that we still have 20 of these hubs to put through the implementation, when do you think all the hubs will be implemented?
We really don't know right now. Implementation timelines can vary, and depending on the resources needed to successfully implement each team's recommendations, those timelines adjust to what the team needs are.
And how does the hub work interact with, for instance, now our systems office restructure?
Yes, the recommendations, such as consolidated functions or shared structures that came from the hub analysis team projects, will inform the systems office restructure. All the documentation and work of those hub analysis teams has been shared with the restructure team.
Very good. Thank you for helping us all understand more about that hub process. It has been a long time, but the work has diligently been going forward. And Alicia, thank you for the extra work that you have done throughout all of the hubs, and you've taken this on as additional responsibility for the college. We really appreciate it.
And I want to take the opportunity to say this has been a tremendous project, a tremendous effort, and we appreciate your support of all the teams that have done the work through this. I especially want to thank Jeff Kraft, who was instrumental in pushing this through to completion. Yes, he is. I also appreciate the opportunity to work with so many across the college. Each team worked diligently on their functional areas and put in a lot of hours. I can report we have very passionate and very knowledgeable people across the college who have service focus, service to our students and service to their fellow employees. So it's been an honor.
Thank you, Alicia. And I will affirm that as I've heard the hub team presentations, that passion is very evident. So, speaking of systems office restructure, let me give you a brief update on where we are with that work. As a part of my commitment to the campus restructure and then subsequent hub analyses, the final phase is a restructure of our systems office. With the help of Thomas P. Miller and Associates, they have conducted more than 270 interviews with a split of systems office and campus staff. About 40% systems office, a little over 55% campus staff. We sought feedback on what systems office does well, where we could improve, and recommendations for a future state. Our goal is to ensure that the structure and the work of our team in systems office aligns well with the needs of our campuses, our students, and the college. The timeline includes working sessions through March with an anticipated final structure determined by early April to share with the State Board of Trustees. I want to thank all those who participated in those interviews. They were invaluable and provided very candid feedback, ideas, and acknowledgments. Our team has met for a first meeting last Friday to review those initial findings. My plan is to provide an update to you monthly in these president updates, and we'll have more to share in February. So, we have a tradition. That tradition is that we end our president's update with a chancellor interview. So today, I've asked Dave Baith, our chancellor from the Lafayette campus, to join us for the president's update. Dave, welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Sue.
So could you tell us some about the work you've done at Ivy Tech?
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for inviting me here today to talk about what we've been doing up in Lafayette. I'm grateful to have the opportunity. I've worked at Ivy Tech in Lafayette for 20 years, and I am shocked, actually, when I came. I never thought I'd stay that long, and I certainly didn't think I'd be chancellor for 15 years.
We're glad you are still here.
Oh, thank you. Like many people, my family immigrated here, my ancestors, in the late 19th and early 20th century, and really this has been a wonderful place of opportunity for those generations to do hard work and advance us, and that's how I really ultimately got into higher ed. I have a degree from a community college, and then went on to graduate school, and I've worked in 3 states, and I started as an adjunct faculty member, and then a faculty, then a program chair, and a department chair, and a vision chair, and a dean, and an academic officer, and then finally a chancellor. So I'm very cognizant that my ancestors took a big risk to leave Europe and to come here. And I am very grateful to all the dedicated faculty and staff who helped me get through life and be successful. And that's ultimately why I want to have a career at a community college, because 2-year colleges are where our students come in to advance their educational and economic opportunities. We're the place where most people start in this country, and those are people who move into the middle class or maintain their position in the middle class. And I'm really committed to that mission.
Wonderful. Tell us about the Lafayette campus, its locations, also its broader service area. What are the strengths of the campus and the community?
Well, it's been very exciting to be in Lafayette, especially about now, because we've seen a lot of growth and development in our facilities and our students and our staff. And we're actually been celebrating our 50th anniversary for the last year. And in that time, we've served over 400,000 individuals.
Wow.
Yeah, the present campus was built in 2001 and 2002. And the programs that we have really recognize the economic diversity that exists in the greater Lafayette service area. And they focus on health and nursing and science, technology in both that traditional sense, but also in advanced manufacturing and now the Internet of Things. Business, computer science, education, the various transfer programs, and highly involved with agriculture. And I like this picture because if you look closely, it's pictures of all the staff that work at the college. Tippecanoe County has recently been named the fastest growing county in the state, and that's clearly a reflection on the economic vitality that continues to be there. And we have such a diverse economy, and there are corporate names that folks would recognize: GE Aviation, Caterpillar, Arconic, Alcoa, Subaru, Kirby Risk, Wabash National, Nanshan, Frito-Lay, which you worked at, Indiana Packers, Lake Erie Products, ConAgra, R.R. Donnelley, Nucor Steel, and Evonik. And they're all key players in the community and with us. We also believe it's essential to have partners with our local trade organizations. And in fact, in the Lafayette campus, we partnered with the unions, and they built a 40,000 square foot training center. And the Lafayette team has worked very hard over time to help advance our students to have higher incomes and many transfer opportunities. Then we recognized in the early 2000s that our smaller communities in the service area often had high numbers of Latino students, but they were being underserved. And so we had that in mind and created a vision of working with the local communities, with the cities and the counties, and also local donors. And we developed sites in Crawfordsville, Monticello, and Frankfort. Those centers are designed to have the first year of programs and then to transfer into the main campus in Lafayette. And we, again, are grateful for all of our community support with the local donors, as well as the businesses, industries, and the local municipalities. Most recently, we've been very pleased to be involved with the local community foundations and Purdue University in a 10-county partnership to promote the development of manufacturing and agriculture through a variety of initiatives related to a new era of sensor technology and the Internet of Things. And this collective group is known as the Wabash Heartland Innovation Network, and the college is grateful to be partnered with that on a $38.9 million grant from the Lilly Endowment. It's our goal to create a regional hub for agriculture and next-generation manufacturing that would be a model for economic advancement, not only in the state, but around the country. And the end result would be that in this 10-county area, we would be electronically linked, technology-based in all facets of our economy, and that our residents and citizens would possess income levels that exceed the national average. So we're pleased to host the WIN offices, the Wabash Heartland offices, on our campus as we serve this 10-county area. And that also is another grand vision we have.
Perfect. The Lafayette service area has been very successful also in fundraising, I think in the tune of $35 million over the last decade and a half. What can you share that has helped lead you to that success and the process you've gone about?
Yeah, well, one of my favorite quotes, and I think you know this, we've, I think, discussed it before, comes from Mother Teresa, who many of us know started a hospice in New Delhi, India, and took people off the streets to take care of them as they were passing away. And she said, "We don't do great things, we do small things with a great purpose." And I think that's kind of a theme or a vision that we have at Ivy Tech and within our community. Fundraising to support our students and our programs has very little to do with me. I'm not out knocking on doors without a foundation. The success of fundraising is really based on a foundation of service and commitment by the faculty and staff at our campus and how they have helped students succeed. So every faculty member and every staff member contributes to the success of each individual student. And those students go out and impact the community. And our donors are willing to give to us because they see the results of those students and the value that those graduates are providing to add to the economic development of our communities. And that's where we get the personal commitments that are involved. For instance, the largest cash donation that has come to the college, it came from the Lafayette area. And this is a picture of a brother and sister, the Griffins. And they gave us an endowment which is, I believe, over $6 million now. This gift came because Mabel, the lady in the picture, was hospitalized, and our student nurses assisted in her care. And they were so pleased with how well our students treated them and the commitment our students had that they decided to give a large portion of their estate to us so that we could further the health careers of students. And right now, if you're in a health program at Ivy Tech and you apply, it's very likely you can get a scholarship to support your academic career because of their gift. This is similar to the WIN opportunity we have. Our major industrial partners, our agriculture partners, and Purdue University, as well as the Community Foundation, sees the success and the commitment for our students and how they economically impact the overall economic vitality of the region and help it advance the quality of life. And they therefore are partners with us in this endeavor as well. Finally, one more thing I talk about is the Intersection Connection, which was a project jointly with us and the YMCA, Franciscan Health, Junior Achievement. And it was to put this building on the footprint of the college. And it was a $29 million fundraising project over 10 years to build this 120,000 square foot facility, which provides child care to our students, pediatric medical offices, physical therapy, occupational therapy, as well as future athletic opportunities through intramurals. Essentially, it is a great national model for how you have child care on campus, as well as health care, and it provides for our students as well internships and clinical places right on campus and healthy lifestyles. So you can simply walk from the parking lot and go do all of those things you need to do. Again, we're able to partner and raise these funds because of the credibility of our graduates and because of the commitment of every faculty and staff member. So we're very pleased to continue to serve at the campus and advance the lives of each individual student.
Wow. Dave, thank you so much for being here today. And I agree, you have a wonderful community there, the community, the campus, and the team that is dedicated to our students and communities. And congratulations, Lafayette campus, on 50 years.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, before we wrap up today, I wanted to take a moment to recognize Dr. John Newby, who will retire from Ivy Tech on February 1st. This week we celebrated his 10 years here as part of the Ivy Tech family. He joined the college January 5th, 2009. John came to Ivy Tech at a time when K-12 partnerships with colleges and universities were just growing. They were just starting to take shape. John actually did shape Ivy Tech's role in Indiana as the largest provider of high school dual credit and dual enrollment in the state. He was given a charge to make Ivy Tech the most prominent provider of dual credit in Indiana, and he carried it out. Under his leadership, John supported the founding of our highly successful ASAP program. Dual credit student enrollment grew from 9,000 in 2008-9 to over 61,000 unduplicated headcount in 2017 and 18, a whopping 677% increase during his tenure. Dual credits earned grew from 50,000 to nearly 400,000, as represented here in those grains of rice. Ivy Tech has dual credit partnerships with 598 schools throughout the state. That leaves only 23 public schools not participating in this past year. During the past year as well, there were 1,400 different dual credit courses with more than 6,500 sections of dual credit courses taught. His leadership led to saving Indiana students and parents hundreds of millions in tuition costs over those 10 years. We would approximate $55 million saved just last year alone. John has dedicated his life, his work, to education in Indiana. Prior to joining Ivy Tech, he served the Newcastle Community School Corporation for 31 years in the following capacities: 8 years as a junior high history teacher, 5 years as assistant principal, 4 years as principal, 3.5 years as assistant superintendent, and then 10.5 years as superintendent. But I know more important than any of these accomplishments to John is his family. He and his wife, Shelley, have 3 children who are married. They live in North Carolina, Indianapolis, and Chicago, and 9 grandchildren. Congratulations, and thank you so much, John. Well, it's time to close, so I ask you to mark your calendars for February's President's Update on Friday, February 15th at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. We will be live from Faculty Council here in Indianapolis, so expect to see a little different setup. Again, thank you for your work to successfully kick off our spring semester. Stay safe and warm this holiday weekend, and thank you for joining us today.